We have two planets coming out of retrograde this week, and one of them is Mercury. So you're definitely going to want to stick around to hear how these changes will affect your sign. But first, welcome back to my channel. Before we jump into this week's transits, I want to invite you to join the Stellar Alignment Collective. Just click the link in the description box below and choose the level that fits your journey. You can join Saturn Student, where you'll receive monthly astrology classes to really deepen your understanding of the cosmos. Or you can step into Pluto's Power, which gives you everything in Saturn Student plus a monthly hypnosis session designed to support your self-empowerment. I'd love to have you in the collective and help you to align with your highest potential. Now, let's get started with this week's astrology. On Wednesday, November 26th, we are being gifted with one of the most emotionally rich and heart-opening transits of the month. Venus and Scorpio will form a harmonious trine with Jupiter and Cancer, both at 24 degrees. Those of you with planets or angles in your natal chart that are around 24 degrees of the water signs, and those are Scorpio, Cancer, and Pisces, you guys will be feeling like lucky ducks with this transit. So this transit really encourages forgiveness and meaningful conversations and a deeper understanding of our own emotional landscape. It's a beautiful day for mending relationships and creating safety in our homes and bonding with our loved ones in a way that feels sincere. But with all of this water energy, the emotional tide runs high. And what we feel, that could be love, longing, desire, vulnerability, it intensifies. Jupiter magnifies what Venus touches. So themes around intimacy, trust, and attachment come into focus. If something needs healing, this transit shines a gentle but powerful light on it, helping us to soften instead of shutting down. So overall, Venus trine Jupiter is one of the most supportive energies for connection, and that can be romantic, familial, or spiritual. It's a day where hearts open and intuition flows and our relationships find room to grow. Here are some things I want you to keep in mind. Even with this harmonious energy, it can still stir certain patterns. This kind of Venus-Jupiter energy can sometimes lean into laziness or a bit of self-indulgence, so be mindful about that. But overall, it's a wonderfully supportive transit for social events, fun outings, and anything that brings joy or amusement. You may even cross paths with someone who ends up being genuinely helpful or influential in your life down the road. And financially, this influence tends to be favorable. It's actually a great day to consider a major purchase or investment, especially anything related to entertainment, leisure, or the arts. And if you're thinking about taking a trip, this is an ideal time to kick off a vacation or a getaway. For those of you who are parents, this energy is especially powerful for children because Scorpio and Cancer both relate to emotional bonding and protection in the unconscious world. So here's how to support your children, especially those who are sensitive or intuitive or starseed children. You really want to strengthen emotional safety. So this is an excellent day to reinforce trust and to reassure your child that home is a safe place to feel and to share and to be themselves. Also, it's a great time to talk about intuition. So children may pick up on more subtle cues than usual. And I want you parents to normalize intuitive hits and say things such as, well, what did you notice? Or how did that feel in your body? And later in the day on Wednesday, November 26th, we move into a more grounded landscape as Venus and Scorpio forms a trine to Saturn and Pisces, both at 25 degrees. Those of you, my friends, with planets or angles around 25 degrees of Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer, will have first-hand access to this energy. Venus in Scorpio is all about depth, truth, loyalty, and the desire to form bonds that are real, honest, and lasting. And when Venus touches Saturn, especially through a supportive trine, relationships gain structure, feelings become clearer, and boundaries make more sense. Commitments feel natural rather than forced. Saturn in Pisces adds a layer of spiritual responsibility, an awareness of how our actions, emotional patterns, and energetic presence affects others. This is an excellent transit for healing relational wounds, repairing trust, and choosing long-term emotional patterns instead of short-term emotional reactions. Here are some things I want you to keep in mind. Even supportive Saturn transits can bring to the surface deeper issues. So, this transit brings a grounded, realistic perspective, making it an ideal time to address any relationship issues that may have surfaced. You're able to see things clearly and to speak with objectivity, which helps conversations stay calm and productive. It's also an excellent influence for business interactions and professional partnerships. You can approach colleagues and associates with a sense of healthy detachment that business sometimes requires while still being fair and balanced in your dealings. For those of you who are parents, this transit offers beautiful teaching moments for children around boundaries, responsibility, and emotional honesty. So, you can support shy or sensitive children during this time. Some may withdraw or turn their attention inward, okay? So, offer proximity without pressure. Being physically near can be reassuring. Also, it's a great time to model emotional maturity. Show your child how you handle frustration or boundaries without shame or harshness. Saturn teaches through example. And also, let's encourage meaningful conversations. This is a powerful day for older children and teenagers to talk about trust and friendships or emotional conflicts. They may be more open than usual. On Thursday, November 27th, Saturn stations direct at 25 degrees of Pisces. If you have planets or angles around 25 degrees of Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, or Sagittarius, you may strongly feel an energetic shift unfolding this week. Take a moment to check your natal chart and see which area falls under the sign of Pisces. This is where the shift is inviting you to put your attention. Any unfinished business or lingering decisions in that part of your life are likely to come into focus now. This is a powerful moment to move forward with a sense of clarity and commitment. For instance, if your fourth house of home and family is in the sign of Pisces and you've been struggling about a decision of whether or not you're going to renovate or relocate, this is a signal to really step in and make a clear choice. So I want you to think of it as the universe gently nudging you toward resolution. The energy is supportive for taking action in areas that require emotional insight, intuition, and compassionate discernment. And by engaging consciously with this transit, you can transform uncertainty into clarity and hesitation into purposeful action. Now, as Saturn is stationing direct, the inner work begins to translate into outer direction, and what once felt foggy begins to solidify, and what once felt overwhelming begins to sort itself out. This moment can feel like waking up from a long dream with a sense of knowing a clear next step or having a deeper understanding of what we are ready to commit to. Here are some things I want you to keep in mind. When Saturn changes direction, the emotional and psychological atmosphere can feel like it shifts, okay? So you might notice a feeling of heaviness or fatigue as Saturn is stationing direct. You might notice that you're feeling pressured or overwhelmed, And that's because your responsibilities may suddenly feel more urgent. Or maybe you're just noticing a heightened sense of self doubt because sometimes Saturn can stir up insecurities that we've been feeling. For those of you who are parents, this transit is highly supportive for teaching children about emotional responsibility, boundaries, spiritual grounding, and resilience. But towards the end of the week, I want you to keep the day slow, keep everything steady and predictable in case your child is feeling tired, overwhelmed, or just extra sensitive. Also, we can reinforce gentle boundaries, not strict, not rigid, just clear, okay? Because Saturn really loves clarity and Pisces needs the softness. On Saturday, November 29th, Mercury will station direct at 20 degrees of Scorpio, marking the end of its retrograde cycle and the beginning of a new wave of mental clarity, communication flow, and forward momentum. Those of you who are Gemini or Virgo risings, or if you have significant Gemini or Virgo placements, you guys are really going to feel this. And that's because Mercury rules the signs of Gemini and Virgo. When Mercury changes direction, it slows almost to a complete halt. So its energy becomes louder, more noticeable, and more influential in our daily lives. And for the past few weeks, Mercury retrograde has pulled us inward. We've been rethinking choices, revisiting conversations, and rediscovering truths we may have overlooked. Technology may have glitched, plans shifted, and communication really required more patience and awareness. We've been asked to slow down, to listen more deeply, and reflect before taking action. Now, as Mercury stations direct, that internal process begins to turn outward again. The fog lifts, the mind clears, and answers appear that were not available before. Misunderstandings start to make sense, and decisions that felt confusing may suddenly become simple and obvious. However, station days are still slow and a little sticky. It's not the moment to rush. Instead, it's like a recalibration, like Mercury is taking a deep breath before picking up speed again. This is a moment of mental awakening. You may feel a renewed sense of direction, clarity, and confidence about what comes next. Here are some things I want you to keep in mind. Even though Mercury is moving forward, stationing can bring temporary tension. You may notice that your focus is scattered, and that's because Mercury needs a day or two before it fully picks up speed. Also, there can still be technology or travel hiccups, okay? Glitches can still happen as Mercury is shifting gears. You may also notice mental fatigue or fog as your brain recalibrates after weeks of internal processing. You also need to be aware of irritability or impatience, especially when it comes to delays or misunderstandings. For those of you who are parents, children feel Mercury's movement strongly, especially sensitive, neurodivergent, intuitive, or fast thinking children. So, parents, let's keep communication simple and clear. Children may feel mentally scattered. I want you to use short instructions, visual cues, or gentle reminders. Also, let's be patient with misunderstandings. Our children may hear things differently today, okay? So let's repeat things calmly, not loudly. And it'll be a great time to really support children who worry or overthink because thoughts will be starting to speed up again. So validate their concerns and help them to find a sense of grounding. And finally, on Saturday, November 29th, we will experience a highly electrifying and unpredictable energy as Venus at 29 degrees of Scorpio opposes Uranus at 29 degrees of Taurus. those of you with planets or angles around 29 degrees of the fixed signs, and those are Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, and Aquarius, you guys will really be seeing this energy show up in your lives. This is a classic tension point because Venus in Scorpio wants depth, intensity, and emotional connection, while Uranus in Taurus seeks freedom, innovation, and sudden change. Together, they create a push pull dynamic in our relationships and values and the way that we express love or the way that we seek security. What we thought was stable may suddenly feel very unstable or reveal an exciting new path forward. It's a day of surprises and awakenings and potentially uncomfortable truths. But the tension also brings liberation. Old patterns, stuck dynamics, or hidden desires can finally surface for recognition. So, this is an invitation to really embrace flexibility when it comes to love and connection and self worth, and to courageously step into a new way of valuing ourselves and others. Here's what I want you to remember about this transit. This opposition is dynamic and it can trigger surprises or tension. So there could be sudden emotional reactions, tempers, arguments, or surprises in relationships may occur. We may also see unplanned changes in finances or resources. So Uranus and Taurus can shake material stability. You also might experience restlessness or discomfort with your routines, and patterns that no longer serve you may feel unbearable. For those of you who are parents, your children may feel sudden bursts of energy and a desire for independence or emotional intensity under this transit. Here's how to support them. So expect the unexpected. Your child may act out, they might test boundaries, or surprise you emotionally. I want you to stay calm and responsive, not reactive. Also, let's provide safe outlets for energy. Movement, creative play, or outdoor activities can help children to release sudden impulses constructively. Also, let's validate emotions without overreacting. Scorpio intensity plus Uranian unpredictability can feel really dramatic. And finally, parents, let's maintain flexible boundaries. Your child may really challenge limits today, but it's time to be firm, but also adaptable and give structure within freedom. Those are the transits for this week. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves astrology as much as you do. And don't forget to check out the Stellar Alignment Collective in the description box if you want to go deeper with me each month. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you who celebrate. Have a lovely week, and may the planetary forces be with you.